something a little bit new here. Instead of music edits, I'm going to try to do some gear reviews. Today I want to go over my saddle. Treemotion Evo. Had it for a couple of years, about 3 years now. Love it, and I'm going to go over my setup here. All right, so we'll start off with the back of the saddle and how I have my gear arranged. I use a Rock Exotica transporter for my chainsaw stowing. I use a recoil lanyard actually, so I dead end the lanyard to this Dmm small stowaway and then hang it from my Rock Exotica transporter. I also have the Neat Freak Keeper. This is the Teufelberger version of that. First aid pack. I'll show you how I have that set up. Full of sawdust because I never needed it, fortunately, but I run the straps from the Treemotion through it, then Velcro over the top, gives it a clean appearance. Dmm Mini Volt. I have that mounted directly to my saddle, which is one of the advantages of the Treemotion. I use it to dead end the swivel from the back side of my lanyard. I keep it screwed shut to keep it from snagging branches. Perfect use for that. Over here I have two large Dmm Stowaways. I use one to store my redirect / second tie-in. It's basically just a 34mm Dmm ring spliced onto some ocean polyester hitch cord. Really useful. And I just wrap it up like that, push it through again, Petzl ball lock, Williams size carabiner, hook it through, bam, it's stowed. I have another large Dmm stowaway beaner that I use to hang my silky saw. If I don't want to carry my silky saw with me, I can just take it off, but I can't think of a time that I would ever do that. I destroyed this sheath a while ago, so this is electrical tape holding it together. I actually have a sheath on order. I carry the silky, and I don't even want to try to say it, Sergi. It's the thin blade curved. I find it really useful for making pruning cuts and any of the little stuff that I might use a handsaw for. On the far side of my saddle, I have two locking Dmm Volts. I find these particularly useful for racking gear, hanging my knee ascender, different things like that. The differences between the Volt and the transporter are pretty minor, but make a big deal to me. It's not as deep of a nose there on the transporter, so makes it perfect for storing a chainsaw, but because it's not so deep here, it's hard to get like a 3/4 inch sling to hang in there without it snagging all over the gate. Whereas on the Dmm Volt, it's nice and deep, and I have no problem hanging gear on there. Move on to the front side. I'll show you I'm running the Monkey Beaver Treemotion suspenders. I have my bridges split. This is my Srt Bridge. I use a Dmm, it's escaping me here, but Dmm swivel. It's the extra movie one. You can see it's, other than a little shine, it's not really worn very much. This is my Srt Bridge, and I run it actually a little bit longer than the other bridge. I don't know if you can see that, it's just a little bit longer. I keep a Dmm ring on my other bridge for double rope. This is for when I'm climbing on devices like the Zigzag that have built-in swivels. I'm using a Hipster from Thompson Tree Tools for my lanyard adjuster. You can see that. That's number 40. So in case you were wondering how this holds up, I've had it for over a year. It's one of the first 50 out, and so far I've had 0 issues. It requires almost no maintenance other than quick inspection. This is 11mm rope, still doesn't slip. So that's been a pretty phenomenal device. I find it pretty necessary to run swivels. So this is the Dmm Focus swivel. This is the Nexus, that's what it's called, the Nexus. So the Dmm Focus swivel, I run that on both ends of my lanyard. as you can see. It just kind of really helps prevent hockling. And there's a lot of situations where having a swivel on your lanyard, you can flip the tail to one side or the other. It's just really, really beneficial. I do run my lanyard off the lower Ds. I don't even use my hip Ds at all for anything except maybe tying the rigging rope on. I actually run my lanyard through this other hip D to get an extra storage loop. One thing that's unique about my Treemotion saddle, and I'll show you here right now, this upper suspension adjustment is the key to making sure your Treemotion fits right, but I find that it slips. So what I did was actually, I had the guys at Gap Arborist stitch mine. It's run through the way it's supposed to. They whip it, run a couple stitches through it, and bam, no more slip. So I actually fold it up nicely into these little elastic loops that they provide you, and I have no issues. Something really cool about the Treemotion Evo is everything is replaceable on it. So I've already replaced these upper loops twice now. I have completely replaced the lowers. I have new buckles on for the lowers, new pads, new straps. I've replaced the back pad on it already. So this saddle is over 3 years old and still really, really comfortable, really functional, and still well within its service life, which is 7 years on the Evo. Yeah, that's my setup. Thanks for watching, and yeah.